Okay, hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Victor, and we are walking through the Ethical Hacker series. So if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe, you can check the playlist to see the series. So we're walking through the Ethical Hacker series, and we're going through some of the labs. We've gone through, I think, up to 10 of it. And right now, we're actually splitting the labs to take them in piecemeal so that you can better follow the labs. So in part 2 of this lab, use the OWASP Web Security Testing Guide, right? We looked at the testing guide, what it contains. We looked at the documents, and I said, try to explore the PDF, go through it. If you want to go into web security testing, if you want to be a web pen tester, this is a very awesome guide. Okay, in part 2, we want to look at OWASP ZAP. So OWASP ZAP is a very nice tool, very simplistic tool. You can use it to do vulnerability assessment. In this part, we're going to consider Zed Attack Proxy, ZAP. The target is going to be an intentionally vulnerable website. So when you're learning doing cybersecurity, one of the things you want to do is to use projects that are meant for learning. They make the process a little bit easier. So there are a few projects that you could use to learn vulnerability assessment and pen testing. So some of them, you have the DVWA, that's the Down Vulnerable Web Application. You have G-Shop, and you have quite a lot of others that you can use that are already vulnerable. So they are intentionally made vulnerable so that they have some flaws that you can test against, see how vulnerable websites they will behave, so that you have some kind of gamification, you have some kind of progress as you learn. Now, we will need our Kali, and we will go to, so I have Kali here provisioned. So I will just log in. If you don't know how to implement this, if you check the playlist, you're going to see guides. So I'm going to split my screen, and I'm going to close this, close this, close this, and close this. That's it. Okay. So I have my Kali environment here. So one thing I want to do is to start the Kali virtual machine, which I've done. I'll search for ZAP. So if you come to the Kali machine, you have quite a lot of tools here in the information guide. We've looked at quite some of them. Vulnerability assessment. So that's where we want to start looking at. Or you just come here and search for ZAP. So you're going to see the tool here, right? So you tap on it, it's going to load. Now, once it loads up, you now want to run your testing. So it's called OWASP ZAP. So once this loads up, you're going to have like 2-3 ways to run your scan. So we're just going to use the very much easier way to run scans, and we'll be fine. So while we wait for it to load its database, load its files, so it says, okay, do you want to persist this ZAP section? You can just say, okay, no, I don't want to do that. There's a news here. Do you want to check for updates when it starts the next time? I don't check for updates. There are 2 ways to run your scan. You could do a manual explore, or you could do an automated scan. So we just go for an automated scan. So ZAP is an easy to use integrated pen testing tool to find vulnerabilities in web applications. So I just say automated scan. I'll collapse this and say, I am trying to scan this particular application. Right? I'm trying to scan this application. What's wrong with my ZAP? So maybe screen resolution or something. Let me collapse this way and see. Something is wrong. Okay, I just had to restart the OWASP ZAP and I'm fine. So which URL do you want to attack? Right? So now, on this Kali Linux machine, you already have this down variable web application implemented. Now, DVWA is a PHP MySQL project, right? So there are 2 languages as a web application pen tester you will want to learn if you want to go into web testing. PHP, Python, and maybe ASP. These are like 2-3 popular languages that you have most scripting applications built on, or most learning environment built on. Most learning environment for web test is going to be built on either Python or PHP MySQL, right? And if you look at terms of market, in terms of market share, so these languages too are very, very popular. A lot of persons are going to build applications this way, and a lot of beginners also will build applications this way, making room for a lot of vulnerabilities. So, but if you think otherwise, you can use the comment section and you could ask your questions, right? So this DVBA, if you want to implement DVBA in Windows, just say download DVWA, right? So if you have ZAMP, you can actually implement it, right? Maybe I'll do a second tutorial on how to implement the down vulnerable web application on your Windows machine, right? So this is a zip file. You could just download, clone it, and have it implemented. So maybe I'll do a video on how to run through that. Okay, let's get back to the lab. So this is the URL here. Is already in this Kali environment. I'll select it. Sorry, I was attack. I just click on attack. I think that's the next command here to begin attack. Enter a valid URL. I think maybe because we don't have a HTTP here. So I will just attack. So what will happen is that this guy will begin scanning. It will run an active scan and check through the entire application. So if you have any URL that you have permission for to scan, you can do the same thing. Put the URL here and you attack. Once you attack, it's going to run through and run a vulnerability assessment for this application, and it's going to scan the entire stuff. So we'll just give it some few minutes and I will come back and we'll see what the result looks like, right? So open this, take this up so that we'll see. So you see, you're going to see that, let me open this up. You have the IDs, the request, the timestamp, the date and time I'm running this scan, the post method, get method, a lot of these methods you used in requesting information from the server, the URL, right? The code, did you get a 200 OK message or a 301 permanent redirect message? Whatever kind of error message or status message it gets, it returns that, the reason, the time it took, the bytes, and all of that. So once it's done, it's going to give us a report. Meanwhile, we can check down and see the different alerts that we have. 2 alerts, high priority alerts, then you see medium priority alerts, then you have low priority alerts. For pen testers, our interest is more on the high priority alerts if we need to prioritize what we need to fix. So let's allow this scan to be done. It's on 40%. Once it's completed, it will return with a result that we can now consider, interpret, and maybe patch. Okay, awesome. So our scan just completed. And if you check, you see full details of any selected alert will be displayed here. You can manually add alerts by right-clicking or relevant line. You can also edit existing alerts by double-clicking on them. Okay, let's just see this alert. So now, for pen testers, though our interest is going to be everything we have here, we are going to be very, very much concerned about the high priority alerts. So this very top 2. These are something that we should patch as soon as possible ASAP. If you see the flags here, the ones you see very red, it's what is high priority alert. So you have medium, then you have low, then you have informational, something that's maybe just a message that might be vulnerable, or maybe people that we don't want such kind of information and all of that. So we go back to our lab. We'll go back to our lab environment. And okay, I think this thing has to do with resolution. Okay, maybe I'll just open the screens. Now, select alert tab if not already done. So I'll just select alert tabs. And the next thing I'm going to do is, when the scan finish, you'll be automatically switched to there. So how many alerts did it return? We'll check 1, 2, 3, alerts 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 of them. The next thing is locate and click on the remote code execution. What it means is that somebody can actually remotely execute his or her code on this application. And that's a very high priority alert. And it has a CV, common vulnerability exploit code. So this is something that came up around 2012. The ID number is 1823. If I copy this number here, right, and put this on Google, it can lead me to the CVE website, either NIST or Metric, the one maintained by Metric, or OWASP ZAP. And we're going to see what vulnerability that is and what kind of applications you can have that, how that can be exploited, and maybe some of the countermeasures. So those are the kind of things you're going to see in those databases maintained by any of these. So if you check this, the name is what? Remote code execution. Some PHP versions are vulnerable to that. What's the solution? Upgrade to the latest PHP version. If not, people will be able to do what? Exploit that vulnerability. So for a hacker, what they're going to do next is going to now see, how do we exploit this vulnerability? So what's the source of the vulnerability? Out of date PHP version. So if you're using the PHP version for your application and it's out of date, you can have this vulnerability. How can this be exploited? PHP code can be injected into the PHP query string, and you have that properly documented here, right? And also you have it here, right? Parameter attack. So the attack can be exploited using this, right? PHP execute echo this string, right? Echo join with this, right? So this is the description here. So PHP version, of course, this is just exactly what we have in that documentation, and this is the reference. Okay, scroll down to the alert tag section of the vulnerability. Note the WSTG key and value. I think so. We just have several other information that we can find for this vulnerability. So at the end of the day, we have something like key and value, right? Are you seeing the keys? Are you seeing the values? So if you need to study more about this vulnerability, if you want to learn how to patch this vulnerability, if you want to learn how to implement controls for this vulnerability, so you have proper documentation on especially OWASP site or the NIST guide. Now, reflection. So we've done a simple vulnerability assessment for a website, and we've seen what vulnerability it has. So in what ways can the OWASP testing guide assist organizations to secure their applications? So it just tells us step-by-step guide on how to test, see the gaps, and of course, see best practices. When conducting pen tests on a client's application, how could you use the WSTG as a guide? So they offer 10 types of tests. So anytime we complete our application, we have to make sure that we check our application across those tests. The tests, we mean all of these different tests. Okay, I think that's all for this lab. The next lab we're going to be working on, it's going to be the injection lab. How do we do SQL injection on this application that we've tested and seen that it is vulnerable? See you in the next lab.